Okay, so you know how we all want to feel more confident speaking English, right? Like it's a big one for so many people.
It is. It is.
And we are always on the lookout for, tips and tricks and strategies. And we found something pretty cool. It's this idea of a 7-day challenge, right? To boost your English speaking confidence.
7 days.
Yeah, kind of like a focused burst. And it's all laid out by this guy who calls himself Teacher Sam.
Teacher Sam, yeah, I've seen his stuff online. He's got some interesting ideas. Practical.
Yeah, and that's what we're all about here, right? Like, we don't want just theory. We want stuff that actually works, stuff you can actually use. And he's got a whole system here. So we're going to dive into the 7-day challenge, see what it's all about, see why these techniques might actually help you feel more confident when you're speaking English.
Sounds good to me.
All right, so basically, this challenge is all about doing specific speaking tasks every day for a week, like a mini project just for your speaking.
I like that. It's focused. Because, sometimes it's easy to get overwhelmed with all the different aspects of learning English.
Right, exactly. And this is all about getting you comfortable with actually speaking, which I think is where a lot of people, really struggle.
Totally. It's one thing to know the grammar and the vocabulary, but actually using it in real time. That's the real test.
Absolutely. All right, so day one, this is where it all kicks off, the 1-minute talk challenge. And honestly, it's exactly what it sounds like.
So simple, but sometimes the simple things are the most effective.
Yeah, so Teacher Sam says, pick any topic you want. It could be like, what did I do today? Or talk about a hobby you love, or even a place you dream of traveling to.
I mean, who doesn't like talking about their dreams, right?
Exactly. And the real challenge here isn't what you're talking about. It's keeping the words flowing. You got to speak for a full minute without stopping, without pausing.
That is harder than it sounds, I bet.
Right, but that's how you build fluency. Like, you just got to force yourself to keep going. And this is where Teacher Sam gives some really great practical advice. He's like, set a timer, record yourself while you're speaking, and then listen back.
Ah, the self-assessment part. It's crucial, isn't it?
It is, especially for someone like you who's really focused on improvement, because then you can literally hear where you're confident, where you're maybe stumbling a bit, where you could maybe rephrase things.
You can pinpoint those areas where you might need a little extra practice.
Exactly. Okay, so moving on to day 2, we've got the shadowing technique, which is a fancy name for something that's actually super fun and simple.
Oh, I've heard of this. Is it where you basically mimic someone else speaking?
You got it. So basically, you find a short English audio clip, could be anything, like a podcast, part of a movie, whatever you like, and you repeat it word for word while you're listening.
Like you're their shadow, kind of.
Exactly. And Teacher Sam even gives you a little phrase to practice with. I love learning English every day.
Haha, I could just imagine him saying that with a big smile.
Right, and it might seem silly, but think about it. When you do that, when you repeat those words, you're training your mouth to make those sounds, to get those rhythms.
You're internalizing the natural flow of the language. It's like muscle memory for your tongue.
Totally, and it's so practical. You can literally start doing this right now, right? Find any clip you like and just start shadowing.
And it's not just about pronunciation, right? It's about the intonation, the way your voice rises and falls, like all those subtle things that make your English sound more natural.
Absolutely. All right, day 3 takes us in a slightly different direction. This one is called Think in English.
Ooh, that sounds like a challenge.
Yeah, it is. It's about trying to spend at least 30 minutes a day thinking only in English, not translating from your native language, but actually forming your thoughts in English.
I could see how that would be a big shift for some people.
Right. But Teacher Sam breaks it down nicely. He gives an example. Like, instead of thinking, I need to buy some apples from the store, which you might naturally think in your native language, you force yourself to think, I'll go to the store and get some apples.
Right, like making that conscious effort to switch your internal monologue.
Exactly. And what I love is his tip for when you get stuck on a word you don't know in English. Don't give up. Don't switch back to your native language. Instead, try to describe it using the English words you do know.
So like, I need that thing. It's red. Sweet. Oh, an apple.
Exactly. You're basically training your brain to think in English and be more resourceful with your vocabulary.
It's like a puzzle, right? You're using the pieces you have to create the bigger picture.
Absolutely. All right, day 4 brings us back to the real world, to our immediate surroundings. It's called Describe What You See.
Sounds simple enough.
It is. So look around you, wherever you are, and just start describing everything you see in English. And the goal, again, is to speak for a full minute without stopping.
This is a great way to practice vocabulary in a real context, isn't it?
Totally. Teacher Sam gives this example. This is a red chair. It's soft and comfortable. I use it for reading. Like, it doesn't have to be super complicated sentences.
But it's about connecting words to the things you see every day.
Exactly. And it builds that fluency muscle, right? That ability to just keep the words coming out.
And it could also highlight gaps in your vocabulary. You might suddenly realize, Oh, I don't actually know the English word for that thing.
That's a great point. It's like a little vocabulary assessment built right in.
Love it.
Okay, day 5 gets a little more interactive. It's called the Q&A challenge. And for this one, teacher Sam gives you 3 specific questions to answer out loud.
Oh, I like this. It's starting to feel more like real conversation.
Exactly, exactly. So the questions are, what's your favorite movie and why?
Okay, that's a classic.
Describe your perfect weekend.
Ooh, that's a fun one.
And what's one thing you're really good at?
I like how these questions make you think a little deeper, go beyond just describing things.
Exactly. It's about explaining your reasons, sharing your preferences, stuff you would do in a real conversation. And again, the advice is to record yourself while you're answering these questions and then listen back. It's all about that self-awareness and seeing how you're progressing.
Always learning, always improving.
All right, day 6 tackles something I think a lot of us struggle with, especially when it comes to speaking a new language, feeling self-conscious.
Oh, I know that feeling all too well.
Right. It's like, worried about your pronunciation, worried about making mistakes, worried about what people are thinking.
All of the above.
And this is where the mirror talk challenge comes in. Get ready for this one.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
So you stand in front of a mirror and you talk to yourself in English for about 2 minutes.
You're kidding.
Nope. Teacher Sam is serious about this one. He suggests, pretend you're introducing yourself to someone or you're telling a short story.
So you're basically practicing speaking without the pressure of an actual audience.
Exactly, because when you're alone with yourself, you can relax, you can let go of those worries, and hopefully the words will start flowing more naturally.
I can see the logic in that. It's like a safe space to experiment and make mistakes.
Exactly. And who knows, you might even discover that you're a pretty good storyteller in English.
Haha, maybe. Okay, so what's the grand finale, day 7?
Day 7 is where it all comes together. It's called Speak to Someone.
The real deal.
The real deal. So after a week of all this practice, now it's time to actually have a conversation with another person in English.
Okay, now we're talking.
Right. Teacher Sam gives some suggestions, like calling a friend who speaks English. Or, there are tons of online groups, language exchange partners. There are so many ways to find someone to practice with.
And I bet after a week of these challenges, you'd feel a lot more prepared for that conversation.
Exactly, exactly. And the real message here is to just go for it. Use what you've learned. Don't be afraid of making mistakes, because that fear is the biggest thing that holds people back, right?
Absolutely. It's like a wall that prevents you from actually using the language.
Totally. So yeah, that's it. That's Teacher Sam's 7-day English speaking challenge, a week of focused practice, specific tasks, all designed to get you feeling more confident, more fluent, and ready to actually use your English.
It's impressive how much he packs into just 7 days.
Right. And what I really like is that it's not just about, learning grammar rules or memorizing vocabulary lists. It's about actually speaking, which is ultimately what we all want to do with the language.
It's about making that shift from studying English to actually using it to communicate.
Exactly. And the coolest thing is that you can actually see your progress as you go through the week. It's not just like some vague idea of improvement. It's like you're actually doing things. You're recording yourself. You're listening back. You're seeing that change happen.
That sense of accomplishment could be so motivating, can't it?
Totally. And that's what we're all about here, right? Empowering you to take control of your learning and actually see those results.
Exactly.
So now that we've gone through the whole challenge, we'd love to hear from you. Which of these 7 challenges do you think would be the most helpful for you?
Yeah, which one resonates with you the most?
Think about your own learning style, your own personality, your own goals. What would be the biggest game changer for you?
And I think this whole challenge highlights something really important about not just language learning, but any skill you want to develop. It's all about consistent, focused effort, right?
Yep.
Imagine if you applied this idea of a 7-day challenge to other areas of your life. What could you achieve? What other skills could you boost in just a week?
That's a really cool idea. What's your 7-day challenge for, improving your cooking skills or learning to play a new instrument?
Exactly. It's about breaking down big goals into smaller, more manageable steps, and then committing to that daily practice. It's amazing what you can accomplish in a short amount of time when you're focused.
All right, so that's a wrap for today's deep dive. We hope you found this exploration of Teacher Sam's 7-day English speaking challenge insightful and inspiring.
Absolutely. And we hope it sparks some ideas for how you can apply this concept of focused challenges to your own language learning journey and maybe even beyond.
Until next time, keep practicing and keep pushing yourself to reach those goals.
See you next time.